So last night, Disney introduced a brand new lighting and music package for the new EPCOT entrance, and I have to say, it looks great, it's beautiful, but it doesn't sound good. I hate the new music. Now, I don't know anything about music, I judge what I hear based on my personal taste, and I don't like this, but I can be critical of this specific soundtrack, the new one, from a non-musical standpoint. I can criticize it based on EPCOT, what the music is for, and let me tell you, it doesn't work.
Look how they massacred my boy.
This new soundtrack reminded me of a lot of things, and none of them had anything to do with EPCOT. That's the first problem. This new music evokes a feeling of adventure which EPCOT doesn't embody. The music sometimes feels like music for a modern, crappy Hollywood action film, and it even feels like documentary music at times. Like, this kind of crap was in this soundtrack.
An ultimate Walt Disney World.
It was just laughable. Like, none of these types of music fit with EPCOT. EPCOT has a distinct feeling of wonder. You wonder what the other cultures of the world are like, and you wonder what the future is like. And that's the basic EPCOT experience. The wonder is the core. But this soundtrack does not embody that. Although I have to mention that it may fit, since we are going to this new direction with EPCOT where Bob Chapek gets to put his hand in with the integration of beloved and classic Disney movies. So what do I know? Maybe this modern Hollywood aesthetic that the soundtrack has really does fit. I mean, really, the new EPCOT isn't really about the future anymore. But I can tell you this much, it will retain the sense of wonder that the old park had, and this new soundtrack lacks that feeling. It doesn't have the same energy, it doesn't have the heart. It's missing EPCOT. That's the issue I have with this new soundtrack. Okay, you want to know why it doesn't have any heart? You know why it doesn't have any energy? You know why it doesn't fit? They're not original songs. None of them. That's fine, there's nothing wrong with that, and I'll get to that in a second. But for example, this song is from Saving Mr. Banks. Okay, like I said, that's fine, even though it doesn't fit, but you want to know what's actually embarrassing? Disney licensed trailer music. That's just sad. No wonder it sounds adventurous or action-like. This is embarrassing. Like, all the music in the parks they get a composer for, that's kind of normal, but at least the songs they choose are fitting and aren't from frickin' movie trailers. It's just sad, it really is, and besides that, none of the music even fit. So, what were they thinking? To be honest, I think the old music loop actually fits more than it did before at this point, since the new entrance is based in EPCOT nostalgia. We have the old fountain back, and the old pavilion logos are now flying in the sky as flags, and the old soundtrack had that feeling of wonder that EPCOT has, but it used tracks from EPCOT attractions like Journey into Imagination. So with the new entrance being very nostalgic, the old track really would work even better than it did before, because that's just what the soundtrack is, nostalgia. So that really kind of pisses me off, because everything just works together so well. Besides the music, the rest is great. I love the new lights, the flags are fantastic, and even though it's not necessarily new, I love the fountain. The entrance is still not done yet, but what we have so far, I'm really liking besides that soundtrack. When I listened to the soundtrack, I was really shocked to see how it doesn't fit, which is really surprising since Disney really understands how music plays a big part in the Disney parks experience, and the music always fits. It always works with the experience, but this one did not, and it really caught me off guard. Maybe if I hear it when I'm actually standing in the new entrance, I'll feel completely different, but for now, this is my opinion, and I don't see myself listening to the soundtrack on a regular basis, or even at all like I did for the old one. I mean, maybe when I go to EPCOT next, I'll just stick some earbuds in my ears and listen to the old one, where everything will be perfect, but, yeah. Right now, I hate this soundtrack. The best word I have for it is fake, because it just does not fit. It really doesn't. God, I hope this soundtrack isn't permanent. I have to mention that the old soundtrack was one of my personal favorites to listen to, and it's really heartbreaking to see it replaced by this really crappy one. I don't know, I'm really sad. It's just disappointing, and I don't know. I'm gonna miss it. I really am.